lots of money, right? Talking about lots and lots of money. Take a breather, go see. I have. Newcastle believes to be interested in a proliferation of players. They want, and they simply I don't know. I think they're gonna have an exodus. They're gonna clear out and bring in new faces, because the fact now, and I was I think it was Tifo Football's video that I was watching yesterday, and they were trying to explain how Newcastle becomes the biggest club and how Newcastle becomes the world's richest club. They want Saka. They want Saka. You have seen the Marshall Leagues, but why would Newcastle want Marshall? Why would they? Look, I would understand if they went in for Coutinho. They've got to spoil some money, because for me, I think Coutinho is wasted money. If I'm Newcastle, I don't go for Filippo Coutinho. This is not a Newcastle show, so I'm not even interested in who they bring in. But leave Saka alone. That is what I'm saying. So, among the players that have been linked with Newcastle, including Anthony Martial, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, even things that you think will never happen, Saka has been linked with a move to Newcastle. And the reason that's why I gave this my attention is it is realistically possible. Sorry to say this, and not many Arsenal fans don't want to hear it, but it's realistically possible for Newcastle to take Bukayo Saka. I think, let's be honest. Yes, Saka is one of those few players, young players, that have actually signed their new contracts. I think last year, he did pen an extension to his contract with Arsenal, and yeah, he's been our best player for 2 seasons now. But let's think about it. Let's talk about it. This is a Newcastle side that is bringing loads and loads of money in the game. So I'm not really trying to say that Saka will move to Newcastle because of the money. No. But what they're gonna do there, and that's why I think players like Saka are gonna be, under a very, very, tough time to make difficult decisions. Is if Newcastle only gets a good manager with a good profile, a respectable manager with a respectable profile, let's say, because I know Steve Bruce at the end of the day is gonna lose his job, right? And he's gonna lose his job. Not in a bad way, really, not in a bad way, but of course, the biggest club in the world now, demands some of the best, talents, in terms of players, and of course some of the best talents in terms of coaching and management. So I think at the end of the day, I'm sorry to say this, but he will lose his job. He will lose his job. For me, that's a constant, Steve Bruce. And if they get in, for example, well, I'm still searching for some of the best managers in the world. I need to get the best. Okay, if they can get Zinedine Zidane or Antonio Conte, if they can get any of those two, it's gonna be very, very hard for any player to reject Newcastle. They've got the money, but they have also got that coach that appeals to you. They've got that manager that appeals to you. They've got everything. They also have, they've also got a stadium that really appeals. The St. James Park is absolutely huge, and I think one of the finest in the UK. But the big problem for me now is, how do clubs like Arsenal keep their players amidst the ever-growing number of giant clubs that are now sprouting out of nowhere? Because for me, Newcastle, yes, it has been a big club before. We need to know that that this is a fact. Newcastle has been a big club before, right? It wasn't always small, and it is these owners, the likes of the Cronkies, right, that made Newcastle the club it is. It was a big club. Probably what we could let's see how many English titles they have, right? Can't really find the trophies they have. Can't really find the trophies they have. But should be, they should have a league. I know, because they've had some of the likes of Alan Shearer, some of the league's best players. So I'm ultimately sure they do have a league title. They have won a league title before in history. So for me now, the big question now is, how does Arsenal survive? How do we survive in this environment, right? But also, also a bigger question is, how do we turn down these bids? Because I know Newcastle at some point in time will try to get, Saka. Yes, it's been linked with, linked that Saka to Newcastle, 100 million, blah 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 blah. But there's a time when this is going to reach a point where it is reality, right? We've never sold a 100 million player, and I know with players like Bukayo Saka, that could happen. Can Saka turn down Newcastle? Yes, he is emotionally attached to Arsenal, but what about his career? If he's looking at Arsenal as a club that is not taking him anywhere in terms of his career, and he might look at Newcastle as a club that is, new kids on the block, building something. They want to win the league as quick as possible. Why don't I go there? That could be the message in his head. And again, can Arsenal turn down 150 million, 120 million, 110 million from Bukayo Saka? Can they turn down that offer? It would be really resistant. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be so hard times, very hard times for Arsenal, especially in keeping our players, and also because attracting new players is already a big problem. No Europa League, no Champions League. What you've got to do is, just pick up scrap and tell people that you're remolding, you're rebuilding this scrap, into better players. But there are better players out there. Can you attract them? No. Can Newcastle attract them? I think Newcastle can attract Housemowa. They have the money. I think they can attract anyone at the moment. They've got the money and they have an excuse. We are revolutionizing, right? We are building a revolution. Arsenal are not revolutionizing. I don't know. We are still evolving at a very slow pace. But those are the two stories that I want to discuss. Later, I will discuss Frank Casey as well. And then the manager's new possible contract.